We passed the Credit Card Holders Bill of Rights. So now we're going to make sure that credit card companies can't just change your dates whenever they feel like it. They can't. They have to give you at least 2 weeks to pay your bill and not change it to 10 days or 8 days. They can't just change your rate based upon them feeling like it. So we have really tried to make sure that we can indeed make it fair for people, because right now people need credit often. When they can't make their monthly payments, they use their credit cards. It's not a good thing to do, but it's the reality of the time in which we live. So we want to be sure that those people are protected. As well, we enacted the Fraud Enforcement and Recovery Act. We're just trying to be sure that mortgage companies and corporate fraud is vetted out so that you don't get to a point where you have no option, nowhere to turn, and end up with a predatory loan, or you end up in a situation that you should not be in. Next. And then, of course, we have the next one. We passed Lilly Ledbetter. And as a woman, I think it's very important that even in today's world, we have women who make 78% of what men make. Lilly Ledbetter says now that everyone has to be paid equally. And I think that's very, very important. We realize that sometimes we have not been as good to the people who defend this country as we should have been. And so we're trying to correct that. So we have expanded the new GI Bill so that it benefits fully college education for all children of fallen U.S. service members. And I think that's so, so important. And we've increased pay for our troops by over 3%. A lot of people wonder how you can support troops and not support war. I happen to be one of those people. I happen to be one of those people. But people who put their lives on the line every day deserve everything this country can give them. It's not their choice. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. I want you to look at this next one. Keep going. Very, very carefully. Now, we talked about jobs, and everybody knows that jobs is a major issue in this country. I want you to look at this very carefully. If you notice that in January of 2009, this country lost more than 700,000 jobs. 700,000. That's the same month Barack Obama became president. If you look at the graph going forward, you can see that by November of 2009, we lost less than 11,000 jobs. So for people to say that we are not addressing the job issue, no, we're not where we want to be. We don't want to lose any jobs. We want to get on the other side of that graph so that we can show people are getting jobs. But do understand that it is not our president and it is not our Congress that is the cause of job losses. If you look at the graph, you will see that not only have we done a great deal, we've done more than anyone thought we could do in a period of less than 1 year. Next graph. We talk about the stock market. If we look at where we are, well, let's talk about GDP. We talk about GDP. You will see that in the first quarter of 2009, GDP had dropped by 6.4%. If you look at it now, in November, it is up 2.8%. We are turning the economy around. It's not going to happen overnight, but we really are making a difference. And most economists will say, those same economists that thought we were not doing the right thing with the Recovery Act, will say that this growth in GDP is directly attributable to the Recovery Act. So we've got a long way to go, but we've gotten there faster than people thought we could get there. Next slide. Now I want you to look at the investments. I want you to look at the stock market. In February of 2009, you will see it is at its lowest point. At that point, the stock market was at 7,000, just a little less, but 7,000. Today, the stock market is well over 10,000. We are, in fact, growing this economy. As a matter of fact, I really was kind of upset the other night. I was watching the news, and it indicated that investors and bankers are going to make more money, have a bigger profit than they've had in many, many years. We are turning this economy around. And if we can just find a way to make the people who we have supported through TARP and other programs do their part, I think that you will see some real job growth. I think that you will see that it's going to be a very, very good next year if we can get people to do their part. And that means all of the banks that have received TARP, all of the people that we've bailed out, now it's time to bail us out. So we're working at doing that. So indeed, the 111th Congress has stabilized the economy with the Recovery Act, and we will keep working to save and create jobs. We will work in a fiscally responsible way to reduce deficits. And people say we're just spending, spending, spending. And we are. But if we don't spend, we can't turn this economy around. People will say to me, you are putting the lives of my children and grandchildren at risk because they're not going to have any future. And I've said this often. Had we not done something like this, they weren't going to have a future anyway. The spiral was such that we had to stop it. We had to put a plug in the dike somewhere. The other thing is business people I know this adage. Sometimes it takes spending money to make money. We can't grow our economy when people are not working. We can't grow our economy when people are not paying taxes. There were some things we just had to do. So just kind of give us another opportunity, at least give us through this next year. I mean, we've only been there 1 year. We've been in a recession since 2007. We've been at war for 8 years. We have seen the stock market and jobs being lost for many years. Give us an opportunity to turn this thing around, because I know we can. We work very, very long hours. We work very, very hard at trying to be sure that we are doing the right thing for the American people. It may not look that way to all of you now, but I guarantee you within 6 months, you're going to come back and say, you know, Congresswoman, you were right. And if it's not 6, if you come back in 6, it's not right, you're going to come back in 9 and say, Congresswoman, you were right. Because it is going to happen. It is going to happen. You're going to be receiving from my staff a small handout. I didn't want you to have it as I was talking, because then everybody would be reading and not listening. So you're going to get something from my staff now that's going to talk with you, that's going to show you some of the things that we've been doing. We finally just finished the appropriation process, and as a freshman member of Congress, we secured more than $11 million in funding for this district just through the appropriation process, which is almost unheard of. And what we've done, or some of the things that we have done, would probably, quite frankly, amaze you. We've brought in more than $3 million to develop cell therapy for battlefield wounds. You know, right now we can't treat some of our people on the field or fast enough. So we have people right here who are able to do this, right in Cleveland. So they received more than $3 million. We gave more than $100,000 to the county commissioners so that they could talk about providing scholarships to those families who are less than 400% of poverty, for pre-kindergarten students, and for things that we know are necessary for early childhood development. Magnet is going to receive more than $400,000 to renovate their center. The YWCA will receive more than $400,000 to assist teen girls who are aging out of foster care and provide them with guidance, education, and focusing on workforce training. You know, nobody thinks about what happens to these young people when they turn 18. We have kept them and housed them, and then all of a sudden they're out on their own. What happens to these young people? So I appreciate the Y requesting it, and the Y did in fact receive it. St. Vincent Charity is going to receive $700,000 to enhance funding for personnel and for upgrades to information technology. That is one of the things that is going to make us healthier. When all of our healthcare institutions can communicate, we need to be at a point where we don't have to worry about doctors making mistakes because they don't have the correct information, or if you get treated here as opposed to here, they can't communicate. It is very, very important